Score predictions and hot takes.
Yeah. So okay. So this is time for the K-State score predictions and hot takes. Like you said, we got to bring up the stats award graphic from Parker Fleming on Twitter.
Oh my God.
collegefootballinsiders.com. You want blue, specifically darker blue. When looking at this probability win percentage for K-State, K-State wins 90% of the time, almost 90% of the time, with a projected score of 37-20. That is crazy. There's a lot of red there for KU, a lot of blue for K-State. That is amazing. Of course, K-State's red in the field position because it feels like K-State loses a field position battle every single game. John, you're the special guest here, man. We got to go to you first. What is your score prediction here early on a Tuesday night in a Sunflower Showdown? Does K-State win for the 16th straight year in a row?
I do have K-State winning. I am trying to remember exactly what I wrote on we're recording 3-Mod tomorrow. I'm trying to remember if I should keep this the same.
Oh, we're getting the sneak peek.
You are. It was, I want to say I had 31-20, maybe 34-20. I'd waffle back and forth there. Somewhere around there is what I'm feeling. I think there will be a decent amount of points scored in the game. I think the over-under is like 55.5, if I recall from what I saw yesterday. So I think you will get some points, but I think it plays out in a similar sort of fashion as that 2022 game where Kansas can throw some counter punches, hang in close enough to make it a competitive game, and K-State can kind of put it away as they grind on them late in the third quarter into the fourth. That's really where I ultimately arrive at, I think, sorting through all of this right now. So I do think it will be 16 straight. And the nice thing about that is that, I mean, if you just look at the developmental cycles, which basically everybody in the Big 12 has to be in some ways a slave to that, where I don't think there are a lot of teams in this league that can go year in, year out winning 10 games a year. So you got to, when are you going to peak? I think next year is really, assuming that you keep the roster intact, when K-State would be peaking, with a lot of the young talent that they have. Whereas Kansas, they're losing a slew of players here. So that's kind of some extra incentive to the game. Underlying storyline is like, you want to keep that streak going, man. You get this one. Now, all of a sudden next year, you'll have to go to Lawrence and to their new stadium. But on paper, that's going to be a Kansas team that's having to reload quite a bit. So, I like the Cats.
Kenny, go ahead, man. I'll go last.
52-20, K-State wins.
I dig it.
Ooh, I love it.
I want to get a K-State victory with over 50 points this season. And what better game to do it against your in-state rival who has, I mean, look, it's not like it's unheard of. K-State scored over 50 against KU many times in the past, even when they only had one touchdown, like they were still running up the score. So, I mean, I don't think K-State holds back here. I think they're going to, it's going to mean too much. It's going to mean just as much for the K-State players that are, you did mention a lot of those players potentially might be coming back. I hope DJ comes back. If he does, that would make me so happy. He's my favorite offensive player.
It's not,
but this could quite literally be his last time getting to smack down KU. And I want him to, I'll get into my hot takes later, but it's going to be 52-20. K-State wins.
I was thinking for a second that was an ode to 2008, the last time that Kansas won. I thought was that 52-20? It was 52-21. 52-21. So close, very close.
Love it. I got K-State winning 45-24. Like John said, very similar to 2022 vibes. I think K-State is peaking at the right time right now. I mean, if you look at where K-State's playing in terms of Iowa State and BYU, they're looking like the class of the conference. And I think KU winning last week is probably actually really good for K-State so they don't overlook them. I just think K-State's just a way, way better football team. So 45-24, K-State wins. Okay, time to get into the hot takes, and then we'll let John out of here before we get into the Week 9 picks. I'll go first. I got Avery Johnson scoring 5 touchdowns on offense. I got K-State with 3 interceptions on defense and then another non-offensive touchdown. I don't know where it's going to come from. But it's going to happen.
Listen,
Kenny,
you didn't even explain the K-State hot takes to John.
Go ahead.
John,
Go ahead.
You gotta bring the heat on the K-State hot takes. Okay, we've actually been super accurate with this season with our hot takes. I mean, almost every week we're able to nail a hot take. I mean, the week we played Colorado, I predicted 5 sacks. They got 6. Last week, Stevie did a non-offensive touchdown. Of course, we got the pick 6. So, you go ahead, Stevie. Say that one more time. Just wanted to give a review of what the K-State hot. We got last week. Brian Hanley's hot take. Brian Hanley had a crazy hot take. He said that Dylan Edwards was going to get 150 total yards and that Austin Moore was going to get a pick or something like that.
He did call that. Yeah, that is true. I felt like it was pretty self-explanatory, but I have Avery Johnson with 5 touchdowns, defense, 3 interceptions, non-offensive touchdown. Kenny, what do you got?
DJ is finally going to run over 200 yards this game. He has been so close so many times this season. So I think finally he breaks the ceiling, the 200-yard ceiling. And I think I'm not 100% sure, but this last game really set him back on that fastest season to get to 1,000 yards or whatever. This is gonna get him right back in there. I think he can still do it though. I think he can still break Sproles' record this season, even with that really bad game against West Virginia in terms of rushing. But yeah, DJ gets 200 yards rushing, and I'm gonna repeat my my prediction, my hot take from last week that didn't happen. Austin Romaine forces a fumble and gets a turnover at some point in this game.
Man, put me on the spot here. I was like thinking through a lot of these things. I like the DJ Giddens one a lot because I don't think that the Kansas front 7 is that great. The strength of their defense is definitely the back end, albeit, Kobe Bryant always gets the picks. I think he can be a little feast or famine. So actually, my hot take was going to be, I think that we get we all remember, now this is not a game that I like to remember from the year before, the last time that K-State lost to KU, but Jordy Nelson just scorched Aqib Talib for a long touchdown. I will say that we get a Jace Brown on Kobe Bryant moment like that, where he just torches him for a long touchdown. I will throw that one out there, and it will bring back some of the memories of that game. Boy, I kind of wanted to go, I keep waiting for one thing. I'm sort of like wish casting and trying to just make happen is a huge Dylan Edwards game. But you told me Brian Hanley took that last time. I was going to say Dylan Edwards goes over 100 total yards in the game and has some big moments. So I'll make that a second one there, that this will be a breakout game of sorts for Dylan Edwards, another Kansas kid. It just seems like there's so much there, but they haven't been, they've gotten close to busting him loose on something, but he just hasn't quite been there. So I'll take this for the week for Dylan Edwards to make that happen.
You got anything on defense, like a defense or special teams or anything like that? Or you just going to do it just all offense?
Maybe a couple of sacks for Toby.
Oh my God!
Not Mott. You're not going Mott. You're going Toby.
I want to see the statue celebration again, man.
We'll go back to Toby. Look, Mott. I don't think it's a hot take for Mott to have multiple sacks. Like, the guy's just been so damn consistent every single week. So get somebody else in there. Actually, if you really want, if this were like the betting market and you had odds on somebody, a nice take a flyer on somebody might be Chidi Obiizor, who I thought played one of his better games last week, that he could get in there. But I'm a big Toby guy. So let's get another Wichita kid, Toby, involved with a couple sacks.